All right. Last of Us Season 2, Episode 4. I'm gonna try and keep this nice and short because I don't have a lot of time to record this. But I wrote some notes, and let's start with the changes. If you played the game, the changes are obvious, and I won't get into it too much. But the biggest one is that they show Isaac much early on. Yeah, so this could be seen as a positive thing and a negative thing. It's good if you haven't played the game and you're not quite sure about this Isaac person, then they show way more things than they did in the game, and so that's good for both audiences. People that play the game will have will see much more of Isaac, and I like his character even though he is obviously crazy, especially with that torture scene, and there was really good acting during that. Um, Wait, I'm skipping too much. Yeah. So yeah, so it's a good thing with that. They added more, they fleshed his character out. But it's also a negative thing because they are basically admitting that they are wrong with setting him up in the game where we don't really know that much about him. He's basically the biggest scene that he's in is during the Abby percent part where they go to him and she explains how she wants to go look for Owen and he tells her not to. And that's pretty much most of what we got. And then Yara kills him later. So in the game, he's a big presence in terms of they talk about him all the time, but they don't really flesh out his character. So that it's good that they have more of him in the show. Now I have a feeling they won't show him that much for the rest of this season. Well, I don't know, maybe they will. Um, yeah. The problem with rushing these videos is that I wanna say a bunch of stuff and I feel like I don't want to miss things, but then if I rush, then I'm talking too quickly and I make silly mistakes and stuff. So I can rush but also slow down at the same time. So changes, yeah, I'm not going to talk about too much. If you play the game, then you know what the changes are, and I just don't want to ramble on about it every single review. Um, there's only 3 episodes left, so I don't want to just repeat myself every single video. Let's see. Yeah, good set design and a good CGI as per usual. Um, all the scenes were, oh yeah, I just mentioned that. Yes, so they show, that's one of the best scenes in the whole episode where they show Isaac turning into a wolf. So they start off as Fedra, you see a bunch of guys in the van, and he meets up with this chick, and they shake hands, and basically, I assume that's how he becomes a wolf initially, and before he leaves, he kills all his guys. He drops grenades in the van, and they all die. And then he has a little minion that has to decide whether he wants to join Isaac or not. And I assume he would have killed him. And then that guy that we see being scared at the beginning is they show him again after the torture scene, and he's standing guard as a security while Isaac is torturing that Scar, I think. Yeah, that was pretty good dialogue when he's explaining during the torture scene where he is cooking, not really cooking, he's heating up the pan and he gives this dialogue of how he couldn't talk to girls and women and so he would cook for them instead. And that whole thing kind of gave me creepy vibes. Like it reminds me of some characters like from Breaking Bad. Gus from Breaking Bad, or something like that. It was done really well. And so that's the biggest positive aspect of this episode. And as I say in pretty much every single review, the set design was really good when they go to Ellie and Dina go to the TV station and they have the people hanging, and they explain in the behind the scenes how well, they didn't really explain it, they just showed how I think they used sausages and just uh, painted them. Maybe they used some CGI in the post. Although in that scene, I think the background was blurry, so you couldn't really see it perfectly at times. But yeah, that was done really well. And so I'm saying basically the same thing in every single review where I have negatives, which I'll talk about in a second. Um, but in terms of the actual quality of the show, it's really good. There's just small things that I just wish they didn't do, or things that they skipped. Um, or just random changes in the game, in the show that just doesn't happen in the game. And I guess if I would have more positive things to say, or I would get more excited about the show if it wasn't a game and it was just a brand new piece of content for me, then I would think more highly of it. Okay, let's go to negatives. So, so there's that huge area that we leave Ellie and Dina at the end of episode 3, where they get to that huge area, which if you play the game, it should take you ages. It should take you on your first try probably like 45 minutes to do a whole thing, or like an hour or so. And they skipped a bunch, and so that sucks because later on it just seems like they spent a decent amount of time with things that I personally don't really care about, which is the romantic aspect of the story, the love story between Ellie and Dina. I just don't really care, and so I'll get to that actually a little later. So they skipped a lot during the synagogues, aka the dome, where you have to run through a grassy area and there's some clickers and runners. They skip that, then you go into the dome, and uh, not much happens there to be fair, but they flesh out Dina's character a little bit more. But I guess they wanted to change that. I think that was done for political reasons. I won't get into that, but that's a change. And yeah, so instead of that, they spend more time with Ellie singing Take On Me, which was good, but you can tell that, oh yeah, so Bella Ramsey, Bella Ramsey lost her American accent during the singing scene, which to be fair to her, it's harder to sing in a fake accent when you're acting, because naturally when you sing you go back to your normal voice and accent, and she is British, if you didn't know that. And it just took me out of the scene because it was so obvious when she said certain words or during high-pitched sections of that song, you can tell that the accent goes away, which is fine, but needless to say, Ashley Johnson did it better. She sings better, she performs better as Ellie. Um, yeah, so that's that. Yeah, so here comes my main problem with the episode. Then when we get closer to the end of the episode, I have a pacing problem with them spending just as much time in the theater having a romantic scene, plus Ellie proving that she is immune, which just seemed to waste time unnecessarily because I would have preferred they spend more time with the infected and exploring the huge area like you do in the game. And I understand that they are trying to be dramatic, but once again, it only works if you haven't played the game. So when we get to the scene where Dina, what did I write down? Dina is pointing a gun at Ellie, I can't take it that seriously because I know for certain that she will not shoot her. It would have been easier if Ellie just showed her infected marks on her hand or her stomach. That's basically my main complaint, but I wrote it down in a note form, so I will explain that a little bit more uh, better. So they have they go to that area where uh, it looks like an underground train station or something like that. And in the game, the basic strat is that you throw a brick or something and you distract the human characters. Um, Actually, this doesn't really matter. What am I talking about? This doesn't matter. So then you make it out of there, and that scene was really good. Um, and so what I'm saying is the pacing is good, but the spending an equal amount of time, not that I calculated exactly, but in my head, it seems like they spend an equal amount of time with that whole scene and with Dina and Ellie in the theater. It's pretty much the same amount of time, and it just made the ending of the episode kind of boring and ugh, if you just know the game, then it's pointless. We already know that. Oh, Ellie is immune, and they have to be dramatic by having Ellie at the end of that area get bit by, I think, a runner or something, clicker maybe, and so she saves Ellie by getting infected, but she's immune, so Dina freaks out and points the gun at her in the theater. Um, and this whole thing just it loses tension because I played the game, so I know that she's immune already, and I also know that Dina is not going to shoot her. So I don't know. It seems like a bunch of like the first 30 to 40 minutes of the episode was really, really good, and the ending of the episode was kind of weak in a way. Not for viewers that have not played the game and are only watching the show, then it makes sense. And that's a big problem because I keep thinking about the game. Um, and so my point is the I would have preferred if they skipped that drama. Ellie explains to her really quickly that she's immune, or they skip some of that romantic lesbian scenes, and instead they should have explored the dome a little bit more and some other areas in that huge area. I mean, that place is huge, and in the game it was designed really nicely, and it literally takes you like an hour on your first try to get through, or more than an hour, honestly, to get through that entire area, and they just do it in 20 minutes in the show. And so if I feel like if they are gonna have multiple, um, oh great, I've been recording for 14 minutes already. See, this is what happens. I ramble too much, and I wanted to make this really nice and short. Anyway, let me finish up. So if they're gonna make a bunch of seasons, although they only confirmed 2 seasons, all I'm saying is I wish they would have committed the entire day one. They should have spread it out through 2 episodes instead of one, whereas it seems like they finished the entire day one in one episode, which is kind of ridiculous because a lot of things happen. And if we're going down this path, then day two, which is the biggest day with Ellie, is gonna finish in one episode. That's ridiculous in my opinion. And so there's a problem with pacing where they spent too much time with little things that will get some audiences happy when it comes to the romantic love relationship aspect, but I think most guys like me will not really care that much about that, and instead we want to see more action, more infected interactions between Ellie, Dina. I was watching the episode with my younger brother, and he complained that he wants to see more of Tommy and how we just left him in Jackson, and we don't really see what's going on with that because, again, in the game, he goes in front of Ellie and Dina, and then Ellie and Dina need to catch up to him, and they go through the whole thing with Jesse. It's just mixed up. They changed a bunch of stuff, and so now uh, the scenes in the show that are high quality, um, when with in this episode, for example, everything to do with Isaac is great. Um, and the action scenes are great, and the set design is great. My reviews for each episode is basically the same, where the filmmaking is actually really good, but they're just small moments and random things that I would not have. I either would have cut out, like even in the beginning when they're riding around horses and they're talking about the rainbow flag and how Ellie doesn't understand why there's a bunch of pride rainbow flags and stuff like that. It's like cut that out. I don't care. I mean, I get what they're going for, but it doesn't really make any progress for the actual story. So I would have cut that out and done something else that's actually exciting. And that's basically my main complaint about not only this episode, but the entire show. Anyway, my review, my rating would be this episode filmmaking would get, I would put it at the same as episode 2 with a 7.5. And for every other aspect, the rating for the episode as a whole, I would give it a 7. I don't think this entire show will reach like a 9 for me. Maybe at the very most, I'd give it an 8. Actually, you know what? I'll give the filmmaking for this episode actually was one of the best of the whole series so far, actually. So I give the filmmaking an 8, and still the kind of the story and everything else, as an episode altogether, I give it around a 7. So yeah, all right. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.